Hi there, my name's Nathan Hunkin from the Chaos Group, and we have come to Chaos Farm today to have a chat with Gill Holmes, who is from the DWP. Hi, Gill.
Hiya. What a fantastic place this is.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
No, it's lovely.
Lovely view. Gill, tell us a little bit about your job. What do you do?
Okay, so I'm a director in Department for Work and Pensions, and my responsibilities are around three key areas. I think I would say, looking after, and I have a team who looks after the employment programme contracts. So these are things like Restart and IPES, and these are the programmes that are there to support either people who've been unemployed for a while or people with health conditions or disabilities or barriers to work. It's really about trying to focus and help to move people into work. The second element of my job is around health assessments. So we have health benefits within DWP, and part of the claiming process is to have an assessment from a healthcare professional. So we have contracts that run those contracts. So I have a team who looks after those. And then finally, local authorities. So we support local authorities in delivering housing benefit and also some of the household support grants and COVID grants. So I have a team who looks after that as well.
So quite a lot going on in your role. What would you say is probably one of the reasons why you love doing your job? What really energises you to do it?
Okay, so for me, it's all about people. Whether it's the customers we serve or the fantastic team I work with. So I've had a long career in the department, and I started mid-80s, and one of my first roles in the department was working with customers direct, and I think I had a real sense of some of the challenges that people face, and I think that's been really helpful throughout my whole of my career, and I've kept that spark with me of how do I support somebody, whether it's somebody who I work with, somebody who I've met, or somebody who's part of our programmes. How can I help to support them, either into work or resolving issues or helping them to move on with their life? That's what's important to me.
Yeah, that's lovely. And I guess with such a kind of a rich history in that sector, how have the challenges changed over the years, and what kind of exciting things are you working on at the moment?
So yes, things have changed, but fundamentally, I think the key to the work that we do is around personal relationships between, whether it's the work coach or the healthcare professional or the person in the local authority or one of the quality teams. It's about personal relationships, and I think if you can understand where somebody else is coming from and understand their challenges, then I think that's what really that's what really works. So yes, we've gone from, when I first started, everything was paper based. Now everything's digital. We've moved from having every meeting face to face to having a lot of meetings, over the internet, like everybody else had to do through COVID. But it's still about that connection with a person. That's what's key. So new and exciting things. So we have. On the employment programmes, we have a number of programmes that are due to finish in the next couple of years. I think as a department we need to think about what next. We're currently under some procurement, buying some new contracts for health assessments. That's always exciting, I think. We've just signed a contract to have some new IT built to help support those health assessments. So it's going to be great to see as that starts to develop and flourish. I think it'll be good to see what that can bring to us.
Really making that user experience much
Absolutely.
more friendly and easier. Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
So just thinking about kind of your employment career, what was your first job?
My first job was writing gyros. Now, for those people who don't know what a gyro is, because we haven't had them around for quite some time, it was instead of having your money paid into your bank, you were sent basically a piece of paper, which is a bit like a cheque that you would go and cash at the post office. And I used to write, I did say it was clerical back in those days, I used to write gyros to pensioners overseas. So I was sending gyros to places like Singapore and Australia. So it wasn't the most exciting job, I have to say, but it teaches you things. Every job I've been in, and I've done a lot of jobs in my career, it taught me things like accuracy, how to work in a team, how to make sure that process was followed. And I think there's some key things that the earlier you learn in your career, because that's continued with me throughout all of my career.
Great. And I think something we talk about on Chaos TV quite a lot is about employment is a journey.
Yeah,
And that there's, I think that people feel a lot of pressure sometimes to pick a career, that's your career for
yeah,
life. But it's not like that at all. I'm
absolutely.
someone who left school, trained as a chef. We now run a TV channel. You know, I'd never see this coming. It sounds like you've had a lot of kind of interesting roles. What's been maybe your most unusual or maybe one of your favourites?
Um, I think one of my favourites, and maybe one of the most challenging, is I was leading a group of consultants, and I'd never worked with consultants before, and it's different than managing people within your own organisation. So that was quite interesting, and we developed and designed a new benefit, and that was, I think, for me, one of the most exciting things I did, and it's, when you know, I'm getting older now, towards the end of my career, there are things where you think, I did that, and that is amazing. And I learned so much that I then took from that role into the next role I picked up. And I think if people are thinking about their careers, I think don't worry too much about where you're going to be in 10 years. Don't worry too much about where you're going to be in 15 years. Think about what you're learning in the job now and remember those skills when you go into the next role or the next job. And it's just that constant building of experience and expertise. Even if you don't like the job, I've had jobs that I didn't like, but gosh, I've learned things, and they've become really valuable as my career has progressed, I think.
Yeah, I think that's some great advice because you can always learn as you
Yeah.
go along, can't you? And like you say, you might find yourself in a role that it isn't for life, but you can certainly take a lot from it and add it to the next chapter in your journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
That does bring me nicely onto the question about if you have kind of any advice for people who may be looking for work at the moment. It's there's a lot of opportunity out there at the moment, and also a lot of support.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we're in an interesting time, I think I would say, around employment. So I think first thing is there is a lot of help out there. So whether it's through the job centres, through the work coaches, or through the provision that's available through the department, or other support and provision available elsewhere, I think for me, and the advice I always give, I've got 3 children who are all grown up now, and I always say to them, always ask for help, speak to somebody else. Everybody, I think we've all been through experiences I've learnt for every job I've gone for, and I try and pass that on to people. And I think it's a shame that people feel they can't ask for help. So ask for help. It doesn't matter where it's from, but ask for help because I think that will really help you in your journey going forward. And I think as well in your career, don't worry too much about, is this my career for life? I think there are some areas where it's a career for life, but for lots of people, you will bounce about between different jobs, and that's okay. I think let's not worry too much about it. I think people should get into a job, go to work, learn from that, and then think about what's your next step. What's your next step? Otherwise, you could just be completely overwhelmed, worrying about what am I going to do for the next 40 years. You don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year. So, embrace what the job you've got, learn from the skills, and then, seek that support, take advice.
Great stuff. And I guess well-being plays a big part in that as well. Looking after our mental health and making sure that we're doing all we can to look after ourselves to be that kind of work ready and robust. Have you got any tips or advice, or things that you do or have learned over the years to kind of keep yourself on track?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits, this might sound a bit odd, but one of the benefits is I had my children quite young. So I was 22 when I had my oldest daughter. And what that really taught me is when I come home from work, my children aren't interested in what kind of day I've got, what kind of day I've had. They want to tell me about what they've done at school, the activities they've had, who they've been playing with, all of that. And I think what that's helped is it's helped me to learn how to switch off and do something else, whether it's the children or now I go swimming or just get outside. And so I think find out what works for you and make sure you have that ability to switch off from work. And I think, unfortunately, I learned that early, unexpectedly, I think. That's one of the benefits of children. But it could be anything. It could be walking your dog. And so make sure that you have something which helps you to switch off. At the moment, mine is I go in the sea and I float. Just float and watch the sun or the moon or whatever it is. And that's what helps just to have all of the concerns of the day just drift away.
Yeah, and nature can play a great tool in that, as we
Absolutely.
can see.
Yes, absolutely.
Jill, absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for coming down to Chaos Farm, and it was lovely to hear from you.
Lovely. It's been fantastic and brilliant view. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.